Have you ever had the question, why does it seem to get harder when I pray harder? Why does my situation seem to get harder when I'm praying? I have two reasons that I truly believe are the reasons. Number one, it's because Satan is right there and he knows we're really close. He knows God's carried us almost to the blessing and he wants us to give up. He wants us to not have faith. He wants us to drop it right there. He wants us to drop the bag right there, right before our blessing, because he doesn't want us to get it. So he's going to make everything harder. The harder we pray, the harder he fights, because he knows it's close and he wants you to let go. So hold on tighter. And the other reason is because if it seems to get a little bit harder right before we get it, it could be because we're not learning the lesson that we are supposed to learn, that it is critical for us to learn by going through this storm to get our blessing. Because sometimes, many times, the things that we're praying for God to give us or fix in our lives, it's something we've caused. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And it's just like a child. You have to learn your lesson. We have to learn our lessons. And why do we have to do that? So we won't go back and make the same mistake again. Because if we don't learn the blessing that God has for us, if he were to give it to us anyway, even though we hadn't learned our lesson, we could mess that blessing up. Does that make sense? You know, he wants to get us through this process. He wants to show us, and it's painful. He wants us to get what we've messed up on. He wants us to know it. You know, he wants us to feel and see. This is why. This right here, it's because I did this. I didn't listen here. I went there instead. God told me to do this, but I went on my own. That's why I'm in this mess. And until you can accept that and pray and let yourself see that, your storm is going to last longer. I know I've been there. That's how come I can say it. Those are the two things. It's Satan is pushing, and it could be both. You know, let's say you've had to go through a long time, like years and years of prayer, and you just don't feel like, you know, God's not going to answer my prayer. It's been years, and I'm still sitting here. That's not true. God is answering. He's already answered it. He's carrying you to the answer. That's the thing. The blessings are there. It's all about the journey getting there and how much junk God has to clear out of our lives to be able to get us that blessing and let it fulfill us the way it's meant to be fulfilled. So we can't get mad when our prayers take longer. It's either because Satan is banging on that door because he's trying to push us out of the way before we get the blessing. Hang on harder. Hang on tighter. Don't you let go. Or it's because we've not learned that lesson yet. So we've got to put it down, put our pride down, put everything down, and let God fix us. That's why we haven't got our blessings. And that's why it's so hard right before we get them. That was on my heart to say. So even if one person saw this and is getting something from this message, that's what it was meant to do. You may be the only one, but somebody was meant to hear this.